Welcome everyone to episode 131.5 of EDH Commander Challenge. I'm your host, BT. It's good to be back, everyone. Shout out to each and every one of you who reached out to me via social media with well wishes. I missed you all. I'd be lying if I said I was at 100% as of the recording of this video, but I am on the road to recovery and thankful to my family, my friends, and each and every one of you for your support. You're all awesome. Also, I'm glad that it was mostly leg pain that I was in the hospital for and not the current, well, you know. Anyways, just as an update, letting you guys know that starting next week, Em and I will be having a series of 1v1 matches we call the EDH Quarantine Punishment Challenge. The reason for this? Well, it's because we haven't played some 1v1 matches in a while, and when we were going through some of her new decks that she made, and some of my old decks I planned on playing, she disliked them all. Therefore, if she manages to beat me in any of the matches we have over the next few weeks, those decks that I lose with will either have to be torn apart or I won't be able to use them for the duration of summer. #ouch. Also, just letting you know, I have a multiplayer match in the can that I will be able to show you soon, that I filmed a couple of months ago, just getting back into the swing of editing first. Oh, one more thing. Shoutouts to Alex and Martin of Affinity for Commander, who had me on their channel not too long ago for their top 5 Esper commanders. I'll have a link to that in the description below. But for now, let's check out my latest 100% foil deck tech, Golos Tireless Pilgrim, Gate style. Alright guys, here it is, my foiled out Golos Tireless Pilgrim deck. So I'm just going to put the general over here where you guys can see it up above. Now, I play the Gate style format, so you're going to see a lot of Gate cards. So as you can see, I run Maze's End, and I run 11 different Gate cards, which are Gateway Plaza, and of course the 10 guild gates that represent each of the dual colors. So Celestia, Izzet, Orzhov, Dimir Guildgate, Gruul, Azorius, Boros, Simic, Rakdos, and finally Golgari Guildgate. I'm gonna put the main cards over here for you guys. I run a few fetches just to make sure that I don't have problems with colors. I have a Polluted Delta, a Wooded Foothills, a Windswept Heath, and a Flooded Strand. Where it comes to dual lands and fetch lands, I have a lot of them. So let me show you here. So starting with the duals, I've got a Taiga, I've got a Tropical Island, I've got a Savannah, a beautiful Bayou, which was one of the first dual lands I ever had. Of course, my most expensive card, Underground Sea. And for the shock lands, I've got a Watery Grave, a Stomping Ground, a Breeding Pool, Hallowed Fountain, Temple Garden, Overgrown Tomb, and finally a Godless Shrine. Then I got a few utility lands that I run, which I'm going to get to, sorry. There we go. So I've got a Mana Confluence. Plaza of Harmony is a card that I'm still on fence about. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. It's just a little bit of life gain, and also because a large number of lands in the deck are gates, this can also help you whenever you're having trouble with colors. I also have a Maze of Ith in case you're running up against, say, a Voltron deck and you need some time, because this deck does take time and you will be needing some extra turns, which I'll get to later. Of course, the Mossberg Bridge. I love this beautiful Crozen Verge. And finally, probably one of the most important utility lands, Field of the Dead, which will help you later game when you get all those lands out and you need some defense. you can make those zombie tokens. As for creatures, there's quite a few. A lot of them some very big ones. Not too many, but you can be the judge of that. First, I have a Tatyova, Benthic Druid. The newest addition to the deck was this lovely Nyx Bloom Ancient. Of course, there's the Uvenwald Hydra, which will help you get out your all-important lands to do your gate combo, for example, or just get the Field of the Dead, or say even a Maze of Ith if you're in trouble. It's a really, really very, very important card for the deck. Sun Titan, so it'll help you basically reuse your permanents, your fetch lands, for example, or if any of your lands get destroyed, for example, because someone will, when they see you're playing with the gates, obviously you might end up becoming the archenemy, and they might start blowing up your permanents. This is a great way around that. Oracle of Moldiah, really, really great choice for the deck, helping you get through your deck really quickly, especially when you play so many lands. Elvish Rejuvenator, Lotus Cobra. So whenever you get to put an extra land into play, for example, with say some of the other cards you'll see, this card is another really, really great choice. I've also got Itali Primal Storm, so that you can start using what your opponents have. World Shaper, which, gonna be honest, you could either play World Shaper or Crucible of Worlds. This is really just there to be able to help you sift through your deck or just get all your lands back that are in your graveyard. Avenger of Zendikar, a really, really great late game card, which when you have it out will give you a bunch of plant tokens. Plus, if you're playing extra or additional lands every turn, why not? Then, of course, we have, oh, the card got stuck back here. Speaking of Crucible of Worlds earlier, here's the creature version of it, Ramunap Excavator, Eternal Witness, Wood Elves, Coiling Oracle, and finally, Courser of Krufix. Love that card in foil for some reason. Okay, next for my artifacts. Some of them may surprise you, but here we go. We have Chromatic Lantern for obvious reasons, Darksteel Ingot, a Soul Ring. Now, Door to Nothingness, you'd probably ask, well, why there's not another card in the deck, which is Approach from the Second Sun. Well, if you're playing a multiplayer game, this card can actually be a little bit more political, in my opinion, as with it, let's say there's one other player on the table that's getting a little bit too powerful and you don't want to become the archenemy, you can use it as a bargaining chip to take out that player and bring it down to you and whoever else. Arcane Signet, Panharmonicons, we can reuse our general's ability multiple of times. Sensei's Divining Top, Gilded Lotus, Nivenrel's Disc, Lotus Petal, and finally Mox Diamond. Then we have some enchantments. There are not many in the deck, but have a look here. So we have Into the Wilds, another way to help us get our lands from our deck into play quick. Wilderness Reclamation, since our lands come into play tap, this card is really good. If you do not have Wilderness Reclamation, another really good card you could put in is the creature Seedborn Muse if you have one. Sunbird's Invocation, this is just another win more card. Mirari's Wake to double your mana. Rhystic Study for that draw power. And finally, Burgeoning, so you can get some extra land drops in even when it's not your turn. Then we get to the sorceries of the deck. A lot of the win cons actually come through here, which just give me just a few seconds. Hold on. Sorry guys, I don't need to take up so much of your time. Yeah, that's it, okay. Okay, so we've got, obviously, this deck is a little slow sometimes, so sometimes getting those extra turns can be very helpful to you, so Temporal Mastery is really a good choice, especially if you're able to get it for the miracle cost. Then we have Bribery. Go steal one of your opponent's creatures, so if they're playing ginormous creatures, why not take one to either beat them into submission with, or just to protect yourself. Then we got a Time Stretch. Yes, it costs 10 mana, but genuinely speaking, when you get this out, you're probably on the verge of winning, or very close to it, in my opinion. Beseech the Queen for some tutor power. Now, here's your curveball. Final Parting. Some people are like, why Final Parting and why not Demonic Tutor? Well, one of the cards that's in this deck, which you're going to see in just a few moments, can actually be the choice for what you'll always put in the graveyard with it, which is, I'll just get to it right away, it's Life from the Loam. So that once you play this tutor and you get a very powerful card into your hand, you would then send this to your graveyard, and then every turn you're able to dredge and get some lands in your graveyard to use with things such as Ramunap Excavator, as you saw earlier, or World Shaper if you have a way to get rid of it, and so on. So that's why I use Final Parting, and it works really, really well. Then of course, I could not run this deck without Villainous Wealth to be able to take from your opponents, and Genesis Wave, why not, since most of this deck is, you know, permanents. I was going to show you how nice this foil looks, by the way. Then we have a Circuitous Root, a great card if you're running Gates. Hour of Promise, Explore, Summer Bloom, which I'd rather run Azusa Lost but Seeking, but I do like this card because it only costs, you know, the 2 mana, and early game when you get a bunch of lands into your hand, or even late game when you have, again, Ramunap Excavator and you have a bunch of lands in your graveyard, this card can actually come in handy because, you know, Azusa gives you 2 additional land drops. This is technically, including your regular land drop, 4 lands in 1 turn. Then you got a Reap and Sow, and you're probably one of your biggest win cons, this right here, Scape Shift, where you trade in some of your duels or shocks for gates, and right in before you have your 10th gate coming off of the effect of the Maze's End you saw earlier to take the win. Then we have a Sky Shroud Claim, a Sylvan Scrying, an Urban Evolution for more land power, and finally a Supreme Verdict to get rid of creatures. So that goes over here as well. Next we have my instance. See, we're almost at the end here. There we go. Oops, sorry about that. So my instance, obviously one of the best cards in EDH, Cyclonic Rift. Definitely a must play, especially in this deck. For some removal, we've got an Utter End. We've also got a Putrefy for some counter spells. Unfortunately, until I can afford a mana drain, I'm using Arcane Denial and the OG Counterspell because they work. Although it's not going to happen too much. You need to really counterspell anything, but why not? Eladon Marie's Call to go get out your creatures. A Growth Spiral for draw power and land power, or landfall power, I should say. A Vampiric Tutor, another tutor power, and the last card in your deck that has any sort of extra turns involved, this beautiful Nexus of Fate. And finally, my Planeswalkers. We have Nissa, Steward of the Elements. More often than not, you'll probably be using the +2 or the 0 ability off of this just to be able to sift through and get your lands down much quicker. Then we have Garruk, Wild Speaker, which is great once again because, you know, when you're running things that put your lands into play tapped, I mean, untapping your lands is just great. Then we have Xenagos the Reveler, which again, the only ability you really care about is the +1 or the -6. Nissa Vital Force, which all around really amazing if you manage to get it to its -6. If you're in a multiplayer, you are automatically the archenemy, hands down. Then we have Lord Windgrace, a great card for any deck that really revolves around land. And last but not least, this lovely Ugin the Spirit Dragon, which is great for permanent removal, or if you're lucky enough to get it to its ultimate, to be able to basically, again, another win more card. And there you have it. That is the awesome Gates style Golos Tireless Pilgrim deck. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I can't wait to play this in future episodes coming up. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're a fan of EDH gameplay and you like whether it be 1v1 or multiplayer and you want to be part of the ever-growing Command Your Challenge family, just make sure you smash the subscribe button and notification bell down below. We do weekly videos. Don't forget as well to like, comment, share our videos, but most importantly, enjoy them. On behalf of all of our members here, I'm your host, BT. Feel free to check out all of the videos in the channel, join our game, it's now your turn. Cheers!